Picture yourself entering a space where people once ignored your voice. Your opinions held no weight. Nobody seemed to notice your presence. Now picture yourself 1 month ahead, walking into that exact space and watching everyone fall silent. Every head turns your direction. Attention focuses on you before a single word leaves your mouth. This change didn't happen by raising your volume, but by making yourself impossible to overlook. This is the essence of what Machiavelli called true power. Not loudness, not job titles, but undeniable presence. Today, we're building that quality piece by piece. Starting from zero, the foundational truth you need to grasp is this: nobody hands you leadership. Instead, others notice it. People won't see you as someone who leads just because you claim it. They see you that way when they sense you've stopped caring whether they notice you at all. Here lies the mystery. To gain followers, you must quit seeking them. Our opening week isn't focused on commanding other people. It focuses on controlling the single individual who truly counts at the beginning, you. Let's begin with the opening day. The primary rule of change is stepping back. You withdraw your energy from what others expect you to be. Every social circle contains an energy structure. Certain individuals talk to show off. Other individuals talk to direct. Then you have the quiet observers. They're watching, they're thinking. And when words come from them, those words carry meaning. Starting right now, your mission is shifting from the first group into the third one. This means stopping your instant reactions. When somebody irritates you with their words, you let it float. When somebody searches your face for approval, you hesitate. Each hesitation changes their view of you. In power relationships, silence isn't empty space. It's authority. The person who delays their answer holds the winning position. Machiavelli taught that a ruler's strongest tool isn't soldiers but self-control. Your opening practical assignment is self-observation, not in some abstract way, but literally tracking one full day, counting every moment you fish for approval. The number will surprise you. Perhaps you refresh your screen after sharing content online. Perhaps you reword your sentences to sound friendlier. Perhaps you fake laughter at unfunny jokes just to fit in. Each time this happens, you surrender a fragment of your command. Others pick up on it without thinking. They can detect neediness. When you eliminate this hunger for acceptance, you create what I term mental magnetism. Magnetism draws objects inward without any movement from itself. Nobody sees it, yet everything responds to it. Your quietness, your rhythm, your subtle facial expressions, all these start holding significance. Days 2 through 4 bring a straightforward task. Analyze your surroundings. Every setting contains hidden structure. Who dominates conversations? Who faces interruptions? Who captures attention the longest? Skip the judgment. Don't jump in too much. Simply watch. Your aim is spotting what others miss, the hidden signals that establish power. For instance, notice who receives glances before people begin talking. That individual holds unconscious authority in their minds. Pay attention to voice changes, tiny breaks, reactions to jokes or quietness. Machiavelli would describe this as the stage of mapping your territory. You can't guide an area you haven't explored. Too many individuals attempt taking charge without grasping the power structure surrounding them. You need to identify everyone's mental vulnerabilities before attempting to move them. Throughout this week, you're also practicing motionlessness. This isn't symbolic. It's about your body. Stillness makes presence noticeable. It's the way military commanders stand in strategy rooms while their troops feel panic. Your physical form sends your initial signal of command. Practice this 3-part routine daily. First, before answering anyone, Wait 2 full seconds. Second, cut all pointless motion, fidgeting hands, shifting posture. Third, drop your talking speed by 20%. Not to seem sluggish, but to seem intentional. This basic exercise by itself can change how people see you. Others will assume you possess knowledge they lack. They'll begin yielding subtly, moving closer when you talk. What's the reason? The human mind connects peaceful control with leadership. When someone speaks louder and faster, they seem unstable. When someone stays quieter and steadier, they broadcast authority. Around the 5th day, discomfort arrives. You'll sense silences extending too far. The urge to fill them grows strong. Resist that urge. This awkwardness represents your former self disappearing. Most individuals can't endure silence because it reveals their lack of self-control. Machiavelli held the belief that whoever controls appearances controls people. This is your starting point. You control the image of authority long before feeling it internally. The internal feeling catches up later. Near days 6 or 7, begin removing noise from your life. Every alert, every meaningless chat, every online debate. These aren't harmless distractions. They shatter your concentration. Shattered concentration means scattered energy. You can't project authority while drowning in interruptions. Remove or silence applications that drag you into pettiness. Stay away from rumors. Stop commenting on everything. Most critically, quit justifying yourself. Justification is how people beg for understanding, not how they show strength. When you take action, let your behavior tell the story. When unnecessary questions come your way, offer a smile and continue forward. Here's something rarely mentioned. Leadership begins with emotional distance, not with motivation. Others can't admire someone who constantly shows emotional reactions. Once they can predict your feelings, respect vanishes. Throughout this week, you'll construct a different kind of protection. When something bothers you, imagine yourself as a spectator viewing the situation from up high. Question yourself, does this deserve my reaction? Or is someone testing me? Most power struggles are tests. Someone speaks provocatively to check your emotional state. If you respond, they've learned they can drag you down whenever they choose. If you don't respond, they understand you're beyond their reach. This is what Machiavelli wrote about when he said people are quicker to harm those seeking affection than those who command respect. In today's language, people cross boundaries with the emotionally open, but hesitate before crossing those whose feelings remain unreadable. Your unpredictability shields you. When week 1 concludes, something subtle yet strong occurs. Your way of carrying yourself shifts. You absorb more, speak less. You quit seeking social comfort through noise. Others begin questioning, is everything all right? You seem changed. That's your signal. They're sensing the transformation. You've stopped functioning from neediness. That's the moment when others develop a need for your attention. Don't rush to claim authority yet. Doing so destroys the impression you're creating. Leadership isn't announced. It's understood. Your upcoming phase involves learning to position yourself so people naturally begin following without you ever making a request. That's when influence grows from the background and others begin looking upward before you speak a single word. Having gained control over silence and emotional distance, the following phase starts: mental positioning. This is where people begin viewing you in a new light. You're no longer the individual trying to blend in or win approval. You're transforming into the person they unconsciously arranged themselves around. This transformation doesn't occur because you instructed them. It occurs because you've stopped revolving around them, and now they start revolving around you. During week 2, Your goal isn't acting like someone in charge. It's becoming the central point. Everything you do moving forward should quietly signal one message: you're moving with intention, and others can either match that or get left behind. Begin with controlling your visibility. Most individuals mistake leadership for being everywhere. They believe constant presence makes them important. The truth is opposite. Being everywhere creates familiarity, and familiarity leads to casualness. You want selective appearance. Appear less frequently. But when you do, it needs to feel deliberate. Every word, movement, or moment of silence should seem weighted. Machiavelli once noticed that a prince who appears too frequently becomes dismissible. His meaning was that others need time to miss your presence for it to hold value. This week, deliberately reduce your overexposure. Quit sharing every thought on social platforms. Quit joining every social gathering. When others see you less often, they start assigning importance to you. But visibility is merely the surface layer. The following step is social distinction. This is among the most overlooked mental tools of influence. You create distinction not through bragging, but through behaving differently than everyone else in identical situations. When everyone reacts quickly, you wait. When everyone attempts proving something, you pose a question instead. When others spread rumors, you stay neutral, slightly entertained, but disengaged. That difference creates a lasting mark in their memory. In a world hooked on noise, composure registers as dominance. By the 10th day, begin using what I term the Machiavellian delay technique. Whenever someone says something that typically triggers quick response, a joke, an attack, even compliments, insert a calculated pause before replying, a 2-second space that demonstrates control. It's lengthy enough to create unease, yet brief enough to feel natural. During that space, you choose whether replying even serves you. Once you stop being reactive, your strength starts multiplying. Now comes building measured assertiveness. Staying quiet doesn't equal being passive. You need to display small demonstrations of power, sufficient for others to sense your limits. Once during this week, select one instance to say no, clearly, calmly, with zero apology. Skip the explanation. Skip the softening. Simply state it. This single move rewires others' perception of you. It shows them your approval isn't easily obtained. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler needs to occasionally display firmness to maintain respect. In contemporary life, that firmness shows through standing your ground. When someone requests a favor that costs your time or clashes with your values, turn it down. When someone cuts you off mid-thought, halt your words and look directly at them. These tiny moves are small assertions broadcasting authority. People remember them without realizing it. Around midweek, you'll observe something intriguing. When you speak, others listen more intently, not because your words improved, but because you speak less frequently. Scarcity creates expectation. Leverage this. Start inserting subtle command signals. Some examples. When entering a room, don't hurry. Move like time adjusts to you. When talking, maintain eye contact slightly beyond normal length, but end it first. This demonstrates control. Keep your voice steady, but decisive. Skip upward tones at sentence endings. Rising tones unconsciously suggest doubt. Lower, even tones broadcast confidence. Even your head movements matter. Slow turns show composure. Quick turns show insecurity. By this point, others are repositioning you in their mental ranking. You've shifted from being part of the group to being someone they can't easily decode or anticipate. That's mental separation. Machiavelli would describe it as valuable vagueness. He cautioned rulers to never be overly transparent. When others can't completely grasp your reasons, they start respecting them. Vagueness generates fascination, but caution is needed. This doesn't mean forcing mysteriousness. It means holding back enough personal details that people feel curious, not lost. When personal questions arise, respond with insight, but not complete access. Rather than saying, "Things have been tough," say, "I'm rethinking certain matters." You show direction without showing weakness. This balance maintains intrigue. As this week progresses, you'll notice power shifting during conversations. The louder individuals will begin justifying themselves to you. The chatty ones will seek your validation after their jokes. You won't need to request respect. Your composure silently demands it. This reflects what Machiavelli called the skill of commanding without force. You no longer battle for dominance. You naturally absorb it. Now comes another layer: mastering timing. Genuine leaders understand when to move and when to hold back. Average people react immediately to feelings. A leader senses feelings, then moves strategically. This week, practice timing through small interactions. When someone offers you an opportunity or suggestion, don't instantly accept or refuse. Say, "I'll consider that." This phrase is a power statement disguised as thoughtfulness. It broadcasts that your time and judgment hold value. You're also learning something deeper: how to broadcast certainty, even during uncertainty. Because leadership isn't about constant knowledge, it's about never showing panic. When facing something unexpected, imagine yourself as a mountain. Others might tremble, but you remain still, evaluating. Even with internal uncertainty, your external calmness tells everyone things are managed. People follow whoever appears to know the next step, even when they're discovering it in the moment. When week 2 ends, you should sense a distinct transformation. You'll observe people now waiting for your thoughts before deciding. You'll hear your name mentioned during your absence. They're beginning to view you not as competition, but as a benchmark. That's the invisible boundary between being part of the crowd and being the person others admire. But here's the important part: this isn't the destination. Staying here too long causes stagnation. Week 3 is where we take this new authority and make it operational. You'll begin guiding conversations, influencing results, and steering direction without appearing to try. This is where mental presence becomes actual power. Once you master controlling that rhythm, people won't merely respect you, they'll start depending on you. You've established presence, but presence without movement is merely performance. Leadership becomes genuine when your energy begins creating results. When others begin matching your rhythm without understanding why. Week 3 focuses on that: strategic engagement. You'll transition from quiet control to gentle orchestration, the stage where your every move begins creating ripples outward. The opening tactic is scarcity in speaking. Speaking less makes people believe your words hold importance. But the secret isn't reducing quantity. It's finishing things before they lose impact. Conversations, statements, even conflicts exit while your words still resonate. Machiavelli warned that closeness destroys wonder. The identical rule applies to language. When you sense your message has landed, stop speaking. Let quietness carry it further. Here's something to attempt this week. During any discussion, complete your input first. Don't aim for the closing word. Target the lasting impression. If others keep going, simply listen. The quietness following your words becomes your extension. It continues walking after you've stopped. Others will catch this pattern and unconsciously start moderating themselves near you. The second tactic is reflecting and guiding. At this point, you've built calm authority, but influence isn't frozen. It travels through copying. The method is subtly matching the speed and sound of those holding higher status or influence. Then slowly decrease your speed, soften your tone, and make them match you. That's switching who leads without speaking. That's how military leaders take charge of rooms filled with officials, not through louder speech, but through controlling rhythm. You'll notice this in minor details. During meetings, if the dominant person speaks rapidly, reply slower. If someone rules with intensity, respond with calmness. The human nervous system unconsciously tracks steadier energy. Within moments, the seemingly dominant person begins reflecting your calmness. That's when control switches. Leadership also requires a deeper skill: indirect control. This is guiding others without them sensing guidance. When you openly direct people, they push back. But when you let them believe it was their thought, they willingly comply. Machiavelli termed it ruling the ruled mind. Here's its real-world application. Suppose you want a teammate supporting your strategy. Instead of direct presentation, frame it as wondering aloud. I've been considering, would it function better if we handled it this way? You plant the seed, pause, let them process it. Hours later, they might announce, "You know, we should attempt that approach." And you agree. The influence completes itself. Leadership without conflict. But here's what most forget. This method only functions when your emotional investment detaches from the result. If you appear attached to being correct, people detect the manipulation. The skill is planting the thought like a breeze, not like an order. As you apply these techniques, people will naturally seek your approval. They'll test thoughts on you, observe your expressions, modify based on your responses. This is where Machiavellian power turns nearly invisible. You lead not through force, but through frame management. The frame is the invisible context of every exchange. Who defines meaning? Who establishes pace? Who determines importance? 90% of people surrender that frame unconsciously. You will not. To maintain the frame, use the 3-filter rule. Before responding to anything, a question, a demand, a challenge, silently ask yourself 3 things. First, does this need a reaction, or is it bait? Second, does my answer strengthen my standing or level it? Third, does quietness communicate more here? If any answer leans toward holding back, stay quiet. Remember, whoever controls emotional rhythm controls perception. Around midweek, you'll start testing the Machiavellian triangle: foresight, vagueness, and timing. These 3 generate mental magnetism that makes people sense you're constantly ahead. Foresight means reading the environment before any social exchange. Predict behavioral patterns. What's their goal? What emotional approach will they carry? Then prepare subtle counters. If someone typically dominates through energy, decrease yours. If someone attempts guilt, appear calmly entertained. The more you predict, the less you react. Nothing worries manipulators more than someone who can't be hooked. Vagueness involves keeping your intentions unclear. You don't need to explain every why or how. When people ask about your strategies, respond, "I'm weighing several options," or "time will tell." It seems casual, but builds curiosity. Vagueness makes people monitor your actions. When actions reveal more than words, authority develops naturally. Timing is influence's essence. Most people move when emotion spikes. Machiavellian timing means waiting until others drain their intensity, then making your play when they're emotionally flat. unable to resist or fight back. You don't compete for attention. You enter it when others have exhausted themselves. This week, experiment with your timing through small tests. In meetings or arguments, don't jump to respond first. Allow 2 or 3 others to speak. Then calmly consolidate the whole discussion with clarity. It appears like leadership, but it's actually strategic patience. As you gain mastery over these, one hazard emerges: pride. Power feels addictive. Machiavelli himself warned that leaders lose grip not when challenged, but when they start thinking they're beyond challenge. The balance is key. Internal modesty, external authority. You serve your mission, not your pride. As this week closes, you'll see the dynamic shifting completely. People start monitoring your responses before completing decisions. They begin saying things like, "What's your view?" or "Let's hold for your thoughts." That's the convergence point. Your presence now steers the room's emotional direction, and it's subtle. You didn't demand it, you embodied it. But we're not finished, because genuine leadership isn't only about earning respect. It's about keeping it even during your absence. In week 4, you'll discover how to make your presence lasting, how to build a reputation so powerful that people protect your name even when you're gone. This is where you rise from influence to symbol. That's when you quit managing perception and begin forming legacy. We now reach the closing stage, the shift from respected figure to authority symbol. Week 4 focuses on anchoring everything you've constructed into something unshakable. You're no longer simply changing how people view you. You're establishing who you are in their minds. When reaching this level, people don't just hear you, they copy you. They gauge their conduct by yours. That's when leadership transforms into identity. The opening step is building your personal standard. This is what Machiavelli termed the appearance of consistency. People don't follow perfection. They follow predictable strength. You need a steady tone, approach, and expectation that becomes linked with your name. Perhaps you're recognized for never losing composure, for always honoring your word, or for handling problems without whining. Select 2 or 3 characteristics and construct every choice around them. When you maintain consistency, people begin defining you by those characteristics. When they can describe you easily, they can trust you deeply. For instance, if your standard is precision, composure, and discipline, then every move you make must reflect those principles. You communicate precisely even under stress. You move intentionally. You complete things when others quit. It seems straightforward, but most people undermine their own image daily without awareness. They move on impulse, not by design. You won't, because your standard becomes your invisible shield. Once your standard establishes itself, the following step is public display. Machiavelli stated that people are captured more by the display of virtue than by virtue itself. That doesn't mean pretending. It means showing the qualities you want associated with you at the proper moment. Every leader has a defining instance where others silently conclude, "This person is different." You can't select when that instance happens, but you can prepare for it. During this week, when a situation emerges that would typically shake others, a minor conflict, a sudden issue, an insult, that's your platform. Stay completely calm. Don't rush. Don't justify. Don't mirror their energy. While everyone else unravels, you maintain your position. That instance will circulate faster than any talk. People recall composure during chaos more than any wisdom. That's when they begin viewing you as leadership material, even without you requesting it. The following principle is shifting from proving yourself to establishing expectations. Until now, Your concentration was building credibility. But genuine leaders don't pursue credibility. They establish it. You'll notice that by now, people may approach you for approval or direction. That's your signal to quit trying to satisfy and begin setting the atmosphere. If a group operates without order, you introduce structure. If they talk without purpose, you introduce concentration. You no longer reflect the environment, you mold it. The distinction between a follower and a leader is subtle. A follower wonders, what do people think of me? While a leader wonders, what atmosphere do I want this place to have? Your internal conversation must adjust accordingly. Every space you enter should quietly shift to your presence. Slower, calmer, more exact. To strengthen this, apply the rule of minimal energy. Talk with less strain. Move with intention. Skip excess. Observe any great leader and you'll notice it. No wasted language. No unnecessary feeling. The less energy you waste, the more authority you broadcast. People naturally feel attracted to those who preserve energy because it signals confidence. Now we reach the closing refinement. Mystery. Not fake mystery. Not theatrics. Genuine mystery is holding back. It's what you don't display. In contemporary life, everyone overshares feelings, thoughts, weaknesses. They confuse openness for genuineness. But Machiavelli understood the reality. People respect what they can't completely decode. So from this moment onward, you reveal selectively. You can be warm, even caring, but never fully transparent. The world doesn't require knowing your every motive or challenge. That opacity generates emotional magnetism. It makes people question their assumptions about you. In that uncertainty, they position you above them, because humans naturally elevate what they can't fully grasp. Combine that mystery with consistency, and you'll observe something powerful. People begin protecting you even during your absence. They state things like, "No, he wouldn't act that way," or "She's not like that." That's when your presence becomes symbolic. You no longer need self-justification. Others handle it for you. But remember, power without character deteriorates quickly. The closing rule of Machiavellian leadership is authority without cruelty. You've mastered shaping perception, earning respect, and leading quietly. Now you must guarantee that power serves something beyond your pride, because the instant you use it for vanity, it starts crumbling. Genuine leaders don't dominate for enjoyment. They influence for purpose. As you complete these 30 days, reflect on who you were at the start. Reactive, approval-seeking, overexposed. Then consider who you are now. Composed, intentional, quietly respected. People don't admire you because you demanded it. They do it because somewhere during this journey you quit needing them to. You replaced approval with self-mastery, noise with precision, reaction with presence. That's Machiavelli's genuine formula for power. Not trickery, but excellence. The kind that can't be faked because it's constructed from within, from nobody to leader. Not through talks, but through quietness. Not through ambition, but through control. From this instant forward, you don't simply enter rooms differently. Rooms begin transforming the instant you enter.